Hi there, my name is Kelly Lynn, and I'm the Vice President of Membership Sales and Prep at ACAC. I've been a team member at ACAC for over 15 years, and prior to that, I was a member. As a kid, I grew up going to the water park in the summer, and as an adult, I started every day the best way you can, exercising at the club with each of you. This is the longest ACAC has been closed down for business, and we miss you. We miss our team, we miss our members, and we miss our home away from home. Since we have shut our doors, we have received thousands of heartwarming messages from you naming the team members who have impacted your wellness journey. Thank you. We've also received many questions. Our owner, Phil Wendel, wanted to answer those questions and give you an update on how the coronavirus has impacted ACAC. Today, over a Zoom call, we're going to connect with Phil at his house. Hi there, Phil.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm lonely.
We're about 1,000 feet apart. That has something to do with it.
Just a little. All right, you want me to start with the questions?
Please.
Okay. How are you personally dealing with the pandemic shutdown?
Personally? Well, I have a lot more time on my hands. It's obvious if you look at the top of my head, I miss my barber. But I'm fortunate enough to have a home gym, and I'm able to do some modifications of my regular physical routine throughout the day. 3 of my 4 daughters live in Charlottesville, where I am based, and we are able to see each other not as a group of 13 or 14, but rather in shifts, one family at a time for a dinner on a given night. I miss work too. I never thought I'd say that before, but I really and truly do miss the interactions I have on a daily basis with not only the people I work with, but with our members. As you know, Kelly, I'm using our clubs about 6 days a week on a normal basis. So it's been a bit of a challenge, one like I've never experienced in my life.
Yeah. What have been your biggest concerns for ACAC with the shutdown?
3 or 4-fold. Number one, we miss the 10,000 visits we get each and every day in our 12 different locations. On a typical day, that number truly is 10,000. We're right now down to none. That's pretty shocking. I miss the 1,700 people who work for us. 400 or 500 of them are full-time people, and the other 1,100 to 1,200 are part-time people. They're high school people with summer jobs in our camps. They're lifeguards. They're people that are using 20 hours a week to help pay their way through college. We really miss these folks. So that's been an enormous challenge. On the financial side, let's be frank, it costs us $800,000 every month to not be open. And Kelly, that's without paying a single individual $1. That's pretty darn sad if you look at it. But when I gave you that number, came up with that number of 800,000, that includes our mortgage, our rents on those properties we don't own, utilities, and other expenses that just don't go away, whether you're seeing a guest or whether you're not seeing a guest.
And for our members that don't know, Phil, how many clubs are there at ACAC?
We have 12 in our system. We have 2 in Pennsylvania. We have, do I have this right? 3 in Maryland. And we have 2 in Richmond, Virginia, and the balance in Charlottesville. So if I did the math right, that should come up to about 12.
Oh. And what year did we open?
We opened in 1984. So our 36th anniversary will be coming up this Memorial weekend.
Mm-hmm. And how many members do we have that are missing our clubs right now?
Well, the number is somewhere around 70,000. We count members and membership slightly differently. Kelly, you and your family would count as 1 membership, but 5 members. For those of you who don't know, Kelly has triplets, 11-year-old triplets. So collectively, the number of people that have access to our clubs is roughly 70 to 72,000.
All right, I'll get back to the questions. Have you ever experienced anything like this in your career?
Well, if we go back to World War II, when I was not in the midst of a career, I was born during the war, and my dad was gone for the entire 3.5 year period in the Army. Um, I'm told stories of the war. I'm told stories as my parents grew up during the Great Depression. So that wasn't certainly very personal for me. So I can't count that as a career related experience, but I do know my dad telling me, I think in 1947 or 1948, there was such a shortage of automobiles in America that in 1946 or 47, if you wanted to get a car, you had to bribe the car salesman. That kind of flipped around now.
Hmm.
And that, of course, is because all of the manufacturing during the first half of the 1940s was attributable to the war effort. I started a student travel company while I was teaching history in the Chicago area in the 1960s, and the basic undertaking of that company was take middle school kids, eighth graders, to Washington, D.C. So throughout the course of my 30-year affiliation with a company that was then called Lakeland Tours, we were taking upwards of 50,000 kids a year from all over America to DC. So obviously during that 30-year period, there were some challenges. There were hijackings in the 1970s, and the hijack, that's now why we have advanced forms of security at the airports. But the hijackings then weren't relating to terrorism, they were relating to people who thought they might hijack an airplane and take it to Cuba, which probably didn't turn out to be a very smart thing. But we also got through the first Gulf War, and that was in 1990, 1991. As part of the student travel company. And after I had sold controlling interest in 1998, I was involved in 2001, right after the unfortunate attacks on America on 9/11. So that would be the closest I could come to a business interruption story or parallel.
Well, it's encouraging to hear that you've made it through all of them. Let's go with how has the coronavirus impacted our relationship with the medical community?
Well, Kelly, as you know, we started when you first came on board. We had quite a relationship, especially in Charlottesville, where our first clubs were founded with the medical community. We started a physician referral program about 20 years ago. We call that PrEP. And through that portal, 50,000 people have become joiners of PrEP,
Mhm.
which is pretty darn exciting and something we're extremely proud of. And that program exists not only in our Charlottesville locations, but also in our Pennsylvania and our Richmond locations. Additionally, one of our clubs in Maryland is co-owned by Johns Hopkins. So having access to one of the best medical centers in all of America is extremely helpful.
Mhm.
Johns Hopkins has, in our largest club in Maryland, in Timonium, a physical therapy presence where they are a tenant of ours. In Charlottesville, we have 5 different physical therapy clinics, and that we co-own those with one of our 2 local hospitals. So I'd say we've had a pretty good head start as it relates to medical. Most importantly, I can't leave out the fact that we hired a medical director, Dr. Gregory Degnan, who has worked for us for the last 6 years, half time. And
Mhm.
his principal role is to keep us tuned in to what is going on in the medical world and to build relationships so that we can integrate our product, fitness, with their product, keeping people healthy.
Hmm. What is ACAC offering its members during the shutdown?
Well, during the shutdown, we've done some virtual programming, and a goodly number of our classes are now visible. Um, I'd say that's better than nothing. I'm a fan to some degree of virtual, but for those of you moms and dads out there who have students, and I have grandkids who are in elementary school, high school, and college, the opinion I get from them on their virtual educations is that they're about somewhere between 20 and 60% as effective as actual the experience of being in the club. So I'm happy that we've stepped up in the realm of Group X and been able to provide a video library for many of our people, and they are taking advantage of that.
I agree. The teachers are doing a far better job than I am with 11-year-old triplets. What changes do you see in the ACAC operation post-shutdown and beyond?
It's a little hard to know. I think we as a club company will probably be better prepared than most in the country because we have embedded ourselves with medical fitness for the last 20, 25 years. I'm proud to say that our members have voted us among the cleanest 1% of all clubs. We're in the 99th percentile, to phrase it another way, of cleanliness, and we will continue to do that. In fact, even step up the effort. We'll have to have distancing with a number of our classes and probably on the weight room and on the cardio floor as well, whereas perhaps 1 out of every 2 pieces of equipment will be available to members, and that's until at such time that we're 100% given the go-ahead by the various governors in the states where we do business to make it business as usual. So I know many of our members are going to be anxious to get back in and work on their strength, their cardio, their flexibility, use our pools, do some swimming, play basketball, tennis, etc. It's got to be really challenging to miss all of that.
Absolutely. Well, Phil, I know you've been extremely active at home. Any tips for us that are looking for new things to do at home to stay active?
Well, my biggest challenge is I'm generally done with my workouts by noon and I'm too sore to get up and do anything else the rest of the day. I'm so happy to see in my own neighborhood, there's virtually everyone is out walking. Terrific idea.
Yeah.
One of the harder challenges to keep up with in your exercise routine is strength, but there are certain things you can do. You can do push-ups at home. You can do squats at home with or without weight if you're lucky enough to have some weight equipment. I'd say that people in a very general sense that have not yet embraced fitness will probably take the opportunity of saying, wow, it seems that of those 70,000 people that we have as members, they fared pretty darn well during this particular period of time health-wise, and kind of a wake-up call for all of us and those of you out there who are not active to say, you know what, I dodged a bullet and I'm going to give it a go. So hopefully we'll see all of our members back and then an influx of new people that we will more than welcome.
Absolutely. Well, Phil, thank you so much for your time today. And to all of our members who are viewing, we miss you and we cannot wait to see you.